In the world of Naruto, there are a ton of Giga Chads who exist. Men like Madara, who drops meteors on the Shinobi Alliance, or men like Itachi drop the coldest line in the war arc by telling Kabuto every jutsu has a weakness, and the weakness to your jutsu is my existence. But what about the women? Which women have that big boss energy, which should have fans everywhere placing some respect on their names? Well, in today's Naruto Explained video, we're going to be looking at the 10 strongest women in Naruto. For the criteria of this video, we're only going to be using female characters who appeared in the 72 volumes of the Naruto manga and in Naruto Gaiden, i.e. the Shin Uchiha arc of Boruto's anime. And the only other information that we'll consider is the supplemental materials, so the 4 official Naruto data books or any stories set between Naruto chapter 699 and chapter 700. Finally, we will be considering multiple versions of a character because different versions of characters have a pretty noticeable gap in power between themselves. Starting this off at number 10, I'm going to say right away that numbers 9 and 10 are actually interchangeable. At number 10, we're going to be going with the 5th mizukage, Mei of the Hidden Mist Village. At the ripe age of 31 years old, this unmarried woman is dangerous in a lot of ways, possessing not 1 but 2 Kekkei Genkai, being born in with the Kekkei Genkai for lava release and boil release. On top of that, she also, according to the 4th Naruto databook, has earth release, lightning release, and water release, and fire release. So she was almost on that list of very small shinobi who had mastered all 5 basic principles of chakra nature, which is extremely impressive, but considering she has 2 Kekkei Genkai, that more than makes up for her not having wind release. Mei had her moments as a shinobi, being able to come up with the plan to corner and trap Sasuke, melting his Susanoo with her Kekkei Genkai, despite Sasuke, well, being Sasuke and being clearly stronger than she was at that time. We see Mei in the war cancel out one of Madara's fire release jutsu. Her Kekkei Genkai allowed her to melt anything that she aims it at, with the steam being enough to eat away at Rinnegan, Edo Tensei Madara's Susanoo, and Mei having enough chakra control over her Kekkei Genkai to adjust the pH level of the attacks, which is a testament to her skill. However, part of what drags Mei down is the fact that while she did fight against Madara, she didn't actually do anything of note. She was more of an afterthought on the battlefield once Madara decided to take his level of playing up from being at level 1 to being at level 3, with Mei easily falling behind in that fight. Whereas Tsunade was body slamming a full body Susanoo and cracking it with a punch and shattering it with a kick and being acknowledged by Madara as being the strongest of the 5 Kage at that time, Mei kind of felt like she was getting a participation trophy as a Kage once the fighting escalated to a certain level. Mei doesn't have a lot of combat feats to consider, but the few ones that we did see from her are enough that she cracks the top 10, and honestly, you could, now me not personally, you could say that she deserves to go at number 9. At number 9, we have War Arc 6 Pass Tools Tenten. As previously stated, you can interchange these 2 characters. They're the only ones in the list I went back and forth with. Tenten hits this high up the list because those 6 Pass tools are just downright busted, and Tenten, being a weapon specialist, was figuring out how to use them, and despite the tools literally being stated to require an enormous amount of chakra to use, Tenten was able to use the fan multiple times in a brief battle in the war arc where she's shown using the fan. Tenten does not get enough credit for being able to use the Banshou fan. This fan allows for all 5 changes in chakra nature to be wielded by the user, despite the user not having mastery of all 5 changes in chakra nature, and the user only needing to be able to think of the chakra nature they want to be able to use in order to use it. The use of the 6-pass weapons such as this is not only stated to require an enormous amount of chakra to use, but it's directly stated that someone with an average chakra pool, so basically a normal human being, they would die if they attempted to use these tools. It makes perfect sense that the people spamming the use of these weapons also happen to be pseudo Jinchurikis themselves with superhuman chakra. Tenten is shown being able to use the fan more than once, with her in the manga being shown yeeting one of Kakuzu's masks while using the fan. Like Mei, Tenten doesn't have a terrible amount of material in the manga that she can actually draw upon, but when we look at what's stated about her, with her being called the greatest weapon specialist in the 5 nations during the events of Naruto chapter 700, and her having the skill set and knowledge to use weapons almost immediately after getting them and using them like a pro, I think it's more than enough to put her over Mei. At number 8, we're going to be going with Konan. Being the only former student of Jiraiya on this list, it feels right to have Konan within the top 10 but outside the top 5 because, simply put, the characters above her all benefit from something Konan never got, which is the massive massive boost in power that the War Arc characters got in that final arc. Anyone skilled enough that both Pain and Jiraiya take out time to compliment you, and even Obito regards you as being one of the most dangerous members of the Akatsuki. It says a lot about your overall skill level as a shinobi. Konan is also one of the smartest characters on the list, being shown breaking down Obito's Kamui Jutsu down to the weakness and masking her knowledge of said weakness until the time came for her to try and kill him, and had Obito not used Izanagi, she would have killed Obito. Her paper chakram jutsu is so dangerous that in the manga version of the story, the moment that Obito sees she's getting ready to use this jutsu, Obito doesn't even finish letting her get the jutsu fired off. He just speed blitzes her right away, and in the anime version of the fight, we see exactly why, because it moves fast enough that it forces Obito to dodge and it can be manipulated by Konan's chakra. Konan's paper jutsu is also strong enough that it can push back Jiraiya's flames, and is durable enough that falling rain and water won't damage it either. She's able to restrain shinobi using this paper, make elaborate replicas of the paper environment that not even a Sharingan can spot the difference without being made aware of the change beforehand, despite the Sharingan Eye of Insight being able to see chakra as a color. Her paper wings also allow her to fly through the air to attack, and during her training with Jiraiya, she was the one picking up Jiraiya's training at a rate second only to Nagato, who had the walking cheat code known as the Rinnegan. Konan only really had a brief battle with Jiraiya and with Obito, but in both of those battles she showed that she's more than deserving of being the watchdog for Nagato and being a member of the Akatsuki. Speaking of the Akatsuki, we learned that in the Akatsuki Hiden Evil Flowers and Full Bloom story that Konan was the one who took down Han, the Jinchuriki who could use Boil Release, because Konan is shown getting ready to hunt down the Jinchuriki that she's been assigned to, and we know from filler that Kakuzu had already captured the Seven Tails Jinchuriki Fu, which, considering that Boil Release can amp up your attacks and give near unrivaled physical strength in a short period of time, as we saw when Naruto used against Kaguya, it's really impressive that she captured Han all on her own without having any help from one of the Six Paths of Pain, and it more than explains why she was able to hold off Jiraiya and nearly kill Obito. At number 7, we're going to be going with War Arc Temari. War Arc Temari is actually stronger than she's given credit for. After Naruto, she's considered to be the win release specialist, which, considering Naruto's, well, Naruto, that's not exactly an insult, and honestly all the signs are there. Temari easily killed Tayuya, who was considered to be the second strongest member of the Sound Four, and in the process she was able to destroy the entire force. By the time we get to the War Arc, she was the only person in that group of shinobi who were attacking the third Kage with wind release that left behind significant damage on him, whereas the others were barely cutting his skin. Temari was leaving behind some pretty noticeable gashes, which is extremely telling because he is one of 3 people in the series with the durability to have survived the heavily transferred jutsu, which is stated to eviscerate someone on a molecular level if they don't have the durability to withstand it. Her skill with wind release by the events of the 5 Kage summit were great enough that she could not only slice through samurai armor, but do so with an extreme level of precision that was required to remove the armor in a way to where she did no harm to the samurai. By the War Arc, we see Temari's wind release is strong enough that it briefly serves as a direct counter to one of the tails of the 10 Tails Beast. By the time we get to the short period where Naruto is married to Hinata, we actually learn that Temari took Naruto coming in saying with that superhero landing that he was the strongest wind release user in the alliance personally, because in the Konoha Hiden A Beautiful Day for a Wedding story, we learn from the narrator that Temari actually regained the title for the best wind release user in the shinobi world, which means while Naruto might beat her in raw power, Temari has surpassed him in skill with wind release in the 2.5 years following the 4th Ninja War. On top of her immense skill with wind release, Temari also has intelligence that amongst the other members of her generation is second only to Shikamaru, with us seeing even as far back as part 1 that Temari had a habit of breaking down jutsu and battle plan for an enemy and form her own counterattacks immediately upon starting a fight. At number 6, we're going to be going with War Arc Byakugou Seals Tsunade. Tsunade finished in just outside the top 5. It might irritate some people, and because we're still in 2023, we have people who for whatever reason refuse to acknowledge Byakugou Seals Tsunade for being the powerhouse that she is. We're going to be going through a brief refresh. Byakugou Seals Tsunade is busted. We see as much when we consider the significance of the damage that she did to Rinnegan Edo Tensei Madara's Susanoo, where she was able to crack the Susanoo of Madara with a punch, and immediately upon seeing the damage that she did, Madara did not hesitate to call her stronger than the 4th Raikage, which by default makes her the physically strongest of the 5 Kage who Madara fought. That holds heavy weight. To put this into perspective, the attacks by the 4th Raikage prior to getting Inoiki's jutsu that make him lighter and faster were unable to do this much damage to Madara. Madara. In fact, War Arc Naruto's shadow clone was unable to scratch Madara's Susanoo despite Naruto using a giant Rasengan and being amped by Inoki, who was using Earth Release to have Madara lifted into the air and basically trap Madara between the Earth Release and the giant Rasengan. Tsunade is shown body slamming a full body Susanoo, and she's shown holding her own against Madara when Madara is using 5 wood clones and using full Susanoos in their battle against her. This comes after Tsunade's already used the Creation Rebirth to heal her injuries from the transportation from the heavily transferred jutsu and having to heal and restore the chakra of the Kage during that fight with Madara. And even after she was split in half, she was able to summon Katsuyu and have enough chakra to have Katsuyu start the process of healing the other Kage despite Madara splitting her in half when he whipped out his thick tree branch and left her lying in a pile of her own fluids. At number 5, we see more of the War Arc power-ups continue to take place with the initial Byakugou seal Sakura. I get it, we're still in 2023 and you have people who refuse to believe that Sakura surpassed Tsunade, but based on the evidence in the manga, it says otherwise. Based on Tsunade's own statement in Sakura Hiden, Love Riding the Spring Breeze, it says otherwise. The Sakura who completed the Byakugou seal comes in at 5 for a really good reason. Her raw power is enough that it made Naruto have a moment where he said he refused to piss off Sakura ever again, made the eternally emo Sasuke crack a smile when he saw her power up when she destroyed a chunk of the Jubi clones, and we have the 4th Naruto databook statement that says that she caught up with EMS Sasuke and KCM 1.5 Naruto, with the 4th Naruto databook being the official primary source for Naruto volumes 44 through 72. And before someone says, well, the databooks use hyperbole, this was not a hyperbole statement. In the wording of the databook, it makes it clear. And this was not a wonky translation that people nitpick like Temari's universal, Kenshiki can split a planet, because we still have people in 2023 who do not realize Japanese to English does not translate word to word and is context heavy, and words like universal and planet aren't literal. They were only in reference to all things made in nature. So that being said, this Sakura being confirmed to be in that realm with KCM 1.5 Naruto and EMS Sasuke is throwing her above all the other women on this list. Just being confirmed relative to them in raw power alone is enough to make her a problem. This same Sakura is shown using Katsuyu to heal the alliance, and she's using the power of Katsuyu, who is directly linked to the chakra levels of the person who summons her. She very early on in this process was already being compared to Tsunade in her skill level. However, Sakura gets even stronger following this moment, because we learned that when Sakura said that her Byakugou seal was completed, this was basically like Frieza and Dragon Ball saying that his 4th form was his final form, and then we learned that there's a 100% version of his final form that brings him a lot closer to Super Saiyan Goku than he ever was before. This is the same thing with Sakura. We have not seen the final form of War Arc Byakugou seal Sakura. Now at number 4, we're going to be going with the final form version of War Arc Byakugou seal Sakura that you see in Naruto Volume 71, who is at her full power and is considerably stronger than she was prior to this. There are a few statements that have to be considered, and they come from a very reliable source, Obito Uchiha. Obito states that in order to get into Kaguya's space-time dimension, it requires an enormous amount of chakra, something that Sasuke later complains about in Naruto Gaiden when explaining to Naruto how much chakra it takes to explore Kaguya's dimensions. Naruto's 6-pass Sage Mode chakra cloak that was amping up his shadow clone, which also has possession of Hagoromo's chakra seal, which is another amp. Think of it like 6-pass Sage Mode Naruto that kicked away the truth-seeking orb to save Might Guy is a V8 engine. Then Naruto uses the chakra cloak, which is basically a supercharger for that power, and then the 6-pass chakra seal is adding a turbocharger to a car that has a V8 engine that already has a supercharger with it. Obito tells that super souped up Naruto, whose chakra was only split 2 different ways by this point in time, that his shadow clone does not have enough chakra to open up the portal to Kaguya's dimension. But when Sakura offers to unleash the full Byakugou seal on Obito, he says that meets the requirement, which is absolutely insane when you think of how strong 1/3 of that version of Naruto's chakra is. This Sakura is cracked. Call it a victim of Naruto's War Arc, amping up the power levels of characters overnight, but it doesn't matter what we call it. The lore is the lore. Feelings do not matter. The facts are the facts. This Sakura is cracked. This Sakura was able to not only break the horn of Kaguya, but she was able to hit her so hard that the force of the attack not only snaps that horn in half, it's strong enough it bruises the cheek on the opposite end of Kaguya's face. This is even more impressive when you consider this same Kaguya is literally stated by Zetsu to have powered up and gotten exponentially stronger, quote, exponentially stronger than ever before, with Kaguya prior to this statement being durable enough that Naruto, who split his chakra amongst 8 other shadow clones to do that massive Rasen Shuriken Biju Amp Rasen Shuriken Barrage, using all the Kekkei Genkai and powers of the 9 Biju. Kaguya survives that attack without any major scratches, because again, Naruto's chakra split amongst the 8 clones at that point in time. And one of those Rasen Shurikens that were fired off was using Boil Release, which amps up destructive power considerably. But Sakura is able to snap the horn and hurts Kaguya down to her soul. This is not an off-guard feat. We see Kaguya literally have an exclamation point above her head and the Byakugou active, which means she knew where Sakura is coming. And Sakura is too large to be inside of the Byakugou's blind spot, so you can't even use that argument. But Sakura's full-powered hit did that level of damage to Kaguya. Yes, Kaguya is flying away from Naruto and Sasuke, desperate not to get caught in the 6-pass Shibaku Tensei. But she's still aware of Sakura coming from the sky, like she's Thor in the final battle for Avengers Infinity War looking for Thanos. Even if you just hate Sakura down to your soul, to the point where she reminded you of someone who sucked off your father, sucked off your brother, did monkey barrel double backflips on your best friend inside the bedroom that you sleep, and live streamed it on the OnlyFans, you cannot deny this is impressive. Yes, that's oddly specific. So either I have a wild imagination or I'm speaking from experience about betrayals similar to this. Now at number 3, we're going to be going with Boruto era Sakura. That's not a hard pill to swallow either. Post-war, Naruto and Sasuke weren't the only ones training following the battle with Kaguya. We know for the official guide for Naruto the Last and in the movie novelization that Sakura had managed to keep pace with those versions of Naruto and Sasuke. While both were clearly stronger than her post-war, we know that she kept pace with their increases in power for at least the first 3 years after the war. If Naruto starts out at a 10 and Sasuke starts out at a 9 and Sakura started out as a 7 post-war, and they each increased their levels by 3 over 3 years. So that'll be a 13 for Naruto, a 12 for Sasuke, and a 10 for Sakura. That's still progressing at the same rate despite the others being stronger. Tsunade even makes a point to literally state out that Sakura managed to surpass her in both power in the war arc and in knowledge and medical ninjutsu following the 4th Ninja War, with her saying that Sakura now has the knowledge of medical ninjutsu that Tsunade can fully retire because Sakura's knowledge has surpassed her own. By the events of Naruto chapter 700, we know the 4th Naruto data book that Sakura's mastered Earth Release and Water Release, and sometime after she married Sasuke, she mastered Fire Release because we see her perform Fire Release during the events of Sasuke wrestling in a scene cut out from the anime version of the story, because her being Sasuke's wife and being part of the Uchiha clan now is required for her to have Fire Release, which is why she had to train to get that change in chakra nature. At number 2, we're going to be going with the version of Kaguya who emerged from Madara's body. This Kaguya was so powerful that when her chakra began to emerge from Madara's body, despite having the God Tree and the regen abilities of the Tenten Shinchuriki, the chakra was swelling up so fast inside of his body it nearly exploded. In Naruto chapter 679, Naruto literally states that this incomplete version of Kaguya, who hadn't even fully emerged, was now stronger than Tenten's Jinchuriki, which Naruto's most recent comp would have been 3-eyed Madara with the God Tree absorbed. In the same chapter, once Kaguya had fully emerged, Sasuke directly states, not only is Kaguya stronger than Madara, but he goes on to literally state that he can't believe a person this powerful even existed, which, considering Sasuke was just in the presence of the Sage of Six Paths, is absolutely wild. And Hagoromo directly lets us know in the manga that Kaguya is stronger than himself, saying Mother possessed power unlike none other. When Naruto asked him if Kaguya is stronger than him, and Hagoromo says, yeah, Madara is approaching my level of power, but Kaguya was more powerful than any other being. So Sasuke's statement lines up. This Kaguya has several instant killing jutsus, such as the Bone Ash Jutsu, which kills anyone that's hit by a direct attack. She possesses the Byakugou, which has near 360-degree field of vision, and the Rinnegan Sharingan, which combines the powers of the Rinnegan and the Sharingan. The 4th Naruto databook states that Kaguya can use all 5 changes in chakra nature, and we know she can use Yin Yang release because of her expansive truth-seeking orb. Kaguya was powerful enough to create multiple interconnected dimensions, including a dimension that we see in the one-shot manga chapter the day Naruto became Hokage, when Sasuke is shown traveling through them. Kaguya's dimension was shown with stars and a sun. Kaguya was able to manipulate her chakra to make her hair into a weapon to either restrain or attack her targets. Her main Minako's ability to replace the world around her by transporting people into one of her space-time dimensions instantaneously. Though it uses up a large amount of chakra, she does so in such a quick manner that Kakashi was certain it was a genjutsu when he first saw the jutsu being used. And I want to dispel something now. There's this notion that Kaguya has infinite chakra because her chakra is linked to the Tenten. This is emphatically false. You see otherwise in the manga. If you're still saying that in 2023, reread the manga. She's able to open up a rift in space-time dimension to transport to other locations, send the murderous bone-ass jutsu through the pocket dimensions to attack enemies, or pull them through one of the portals. We see in Naruto chapter 682 that the speed at which she's able to do so is enough that even Sasuke, someone who possessed the Rinnegan, was caught off guard by it. She's able to summon chakra arms that are powerful enough that they only needed 4 hits to destroy Sasuke's perfect Susanoo, and she was able to wipe out a large number of Naruto's 1,000 shadow clones while casually using this jutsu. If we consider the anime, Kaguya is shown being able to send shockwaves through her Byakugou that can physically harm people, and we know that it took the combined might of Hagoromo and Hamura working together for several months to combat. At number 1, we're going to be going with Kaguya yet again, but this version of Kaguya is the one who powered up after taking the 6-pass Amp Bijudama Rasen Shuriken Barrage by Naruto. This Kaguya, who after she prepares to expand the Truth-Seeking Orb and stabilize the chakra of the 9 Biju, and after she absorbed all the chakra from the shinobi and another dimension who are under the infinite Tsukuyomi, Zetsu straight up tells us that Kaguya has gained, quote, more power. Both her power and speed are exponentially greater than before, end quote, meaning this Kaguya is several times more powerful than the one we saw prior and stronger than any version of Kaguya who Hagoromo would have been aware of, which is absolutely scary to think of considering just how strong that Kaguya that he was afraid of actually was. I don't think there's any mistake that this is the strongest female in the Naruto universe if we only stop at the events of Naruto Gaiden. However, that's gonna be it for the 10 strongest women in Naruto. If we can hit 3,000 likes on this video within a week of uploading, I'll do the top 25 strongest women in Naruto, and there's a strong chance that whoever your favorite female character is, she's likely on that list. And if we hit 5,000 likes, I'll include the top 30 strongest women in the entire Naruto franchise, and we'll be including Boruto characters and the characters from the movies.